Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, let's talk about how to control these emotions of anger. Well, anger itself is a natural human emotion. We all feel angry. But if we do not know how to control this emotion, if we do not know how to deal with anger, sometimes it can be destructive. And if we let that anger to control over our life, we will get into lots of troubles. So, today, I'm going to introduce you a little practice that you can practice in your practical life to deal with this emotion. Well, first of all, I have to remember none of these practices are easy. In fact, nothing in life that brings us the happiness, that brings the peacefulness to your life is not an easy task. It is a difficult one. Though it is difficult, we cannot abandon it because we like to be happy and we like to be peaceful in our life. So that is why Buddha said that everything that brings the happiness to your life is a difficult task. So what are the things that we can do to deal with these emotions of anger? Well, the first and the foremost thing that you can do to deal with these emotions is to acknowledge that your thoughts are in anger. If you don't know your thoughts are in anger, you cannot deal with it. So this includes the mindfulness, right? Whenever you are about to get angry, whenever you feel that you are triggered by this anger, just ask this question: what am I thinking now? In which mode my thoughts are in now, right? Whenever you ask that question and whenever you answer it, you can find, oh, I'm about to get angry now. Now my thoughts are in anger. That is the first step, to know that you are angry. Then it comes to the second step, right? So in this second step, if you look at this, if I ask a question from you, whenever you feel angry, imagine a situation that you have felt angry about something or someone, right? How your breathing pattern works. How our breathing pattern changes when we feel angry. It speeds up and we take short breaths, right? So that gives the sign to our body, that gives the message to our body that now you're ready for getting angry. We are breathing heavily, we are breathing in short periods, and we are breathing speedily. So the first thing that you can do is to slow down your breathing pattern. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take another deep breath in and let it down. Slowing down the breathing pattern will help you to calm your body and calm your mind, right? Whenever we feel calm and when we are about to take a rest, what is the thing that we do? For an example, after a long day of work, when you come home and after having a good shower, if you fell on the couch, right? If you fell on the bed, what is the first thing that you do? You take a deep breath in and let it out. That is the thing that you do. That means you are giving the signal to your body that you are about to get calm or to have a rest. So the thing that we have to do, whenever we feel angry, whenever we feel we panicked, just give the message to your body that be calm by taking 2 to 3 deep breaths in and out, right? So breathing can help you a lot. Then as the third step, now you're a little bit peaceful and calming. Now you can wisely reflect on your thought pattern. When you reflect about your thoughts, you can find, why did I become angry with this person? What is that? Then you can find that anger does not prevail in an outer world, in that person or that thing, specific thing. Anger prevails in my mind, right? It is something that I have created. Whenever you come to a situation that you are triggered to be angry, You come up with these two choices, either to react with negativity or to respond with positivity. That is up to you, right? And your experiences and your good and bad experiences depends on these choices that you make. So you totally have the power and you totally have the privilege to respond with positivity, right? So you have to believe in patience for that. Remember, there is nothing in this world, there is no problem in this world that has been solved with anger. That is why Buddha said, anger does not cease by anger, or hatred does not cease by hatred. Hatred is seized by love and kindness only. So you have to believe in patience and compassion and forgiveness. That is the way that you are going to solve the problem, right? Though you react in anger, though you yell out or scream or take actions with anger, that is not going to help. That is not going to solve the problem. It will make the problem even more worse. I have seen lots of people who could not control their anger for a split second. Just because they could not control their anger for a split second, now they are regretting for their whole life. So remember, anger is not going to help you. So when you believe in patience and kindness and compassion, you will have this strength to face that situation more positively. Remember what Buddha said. The Buddha said, before you do something from your body, from your speech, or from your mind, just wisely reflect that what I'm going to do, is this worthy of doing? Is it bringing happiness to myself, or is it bringing happiness to others? Is it going to hurt others, or is it going to hurt myself? If it is hurting you and if it is hurting to other self, do not try to do it. Remember, it is okay that we feel angry sometimes in our mind, but it is not okay to let that anger to flow out from our bodily actions and our words, right? So remember, this is how we can control it. Always believe in patience and kindness. That is where you're gonna solve the problems. So this is a little practice where we can deal with these emotions of anger. So practice these practices little by little and make your life a peaceful one. Namo Buddhaya. You are not all alone in this world. Don't think that you don't have help. Don't think that no one is caring about you. The truth is, there are people who can help you and who are willing to help you. All you got to do is just step a little outside and seek for the help from correct people and from the correct places. So when the life throws challenges towards us, when there is tough times in life, we tend to think that we are the only person who is going through depression, anxiety, or stress or problems. But the truth is, if you see the world, there are millions and millions of people who are struggling and who are suffering in this life, right? We all struggle in our lives to live in this world, right? So it is not your suffering. It is not only my suffering. It is our suffering. We all are suffering in this world. The Buddha said, where there is birth, there is suffering. That is the reality. But we don't want to think about this suffering as something negative, right? It is not the suffering that makes us negative. It is the perspective that we are holding on to suffering makes us negative, right? So, today, I'm not here to talk about depression and how to quit the depression. Today, I'm going to share with you a simple Buddhist practice that can help you in healing these depressive thoughts or anxious thoughts or any kind of mental suffering that you're having. And this practice is called becoming mindful about your thoughts, right? becoming mindful about your thoughts. In Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha explains this as Chittanupassana. So how can we practice becoming mindful about our thoughts? It is very simple, right? You can do this practice whenever you want or wherever you want. It is free. You totally have the freedom to do it, right? Here's how we can do this. And when we become mindful about our thoughts, what we are doing is we are not judging our thoughts, and also we are not trying to stop our thoughts, but we constantly become aware of what we are thinking, what comes to our mind. So all you got to do is you can sit down, or you can do this while walking, while traveling in the bus, or wherever you want. Just ask from yourself that, what am I thinking? Then you will come across with these thoughts, right? So what we have to do is, whenever you become depressed, whenever you feel anxious about yourself, whenever you feel sad about something, what you have to do is just notice it. Notice it as a thought. Because most of the time, we judge ourselves by thoughts. We are thinking about ourselves as our thoughts. But remember, you are not your thoughts. When you become more mindful, it gives you this ability to separate yourself from your thoughts, right? So we don't want to judge ourselves by our thoughts. What we are doing is we become mindful. We become more aware of our thoughts without judging. It is very simple. It's like this. It's like you're watching a traffic pass by sitting beside the road. You can see cars are going, you can see bikes are going, vans, buses, cargo carriers. There are so many vehicles that are going. All you're doing is you're just watching them. You're just noticing them, right? But most of the time what happens is we become more afraid about these vehicles, and we try to jump into the middle of the road, and we are trying to stop these things. Right? That is what you are doing. That is what we are doing when we become depressed or sad. When these sad and depressed thoughts haunt our mind, what we are doing is we are trying to fight it. We are trying to suppress them. We are trying to stop them. The more you try to stop these thoughts, it will come again and again. Remember that. So all you got to do is, we are not going to fight them. We are not going to stop them. We are noticing them, right? You can do this. Just ask this simple question from you. What am I thinking? Then you will find that, oh, my thoughts are depressed. It is not me that is depressed. My thoughts are depressed, right? So what is the nature of a thought? It will come and it will stay for a while in your mind, and it will fade away. That is the nature of the thought. So it is just a thought. That means you are not the depression, you are not the anxiety, and you are not the stress. Remember, if you feel hopeless, if you feel that you are not good enough, don't believe what your mind always says. You are more capable than you think. You are more good than you think, right? So what is holding back us is this little frame that we are having inside our mind, that I am not good enough. I cannot do these things. I am not capable of doing these things. I am hopeless. No one is going to help me. If you change that mindset one day, remember, you can do better and you can do more than you think. So please, don't think that you are not good enough. I repeat again, that you are more capable of doing things more than you think, right? So believe in it and work for it. So if you are going through painful situations, and if you are having painful memories about yourself, don't run away from them. Don't be afraid of them. Remember, pain is a part of growing. right? If you want to grow, sometimes you have to go through pain. Most of the time you have to go through pain. So if you practice these mindful exercises, and if you seek for the help, and if you do this proper medication for your mental suffering, then one day for sure you are going to be okay. You are going to be happy in your life. And this is the best part of recovering from these traumatic and painful situations. What is that? You can help someone who is in the same place as you were. You can say that do these things, practice these things, think like this, because I know the pain that you are going through, because I was a person like you. But I am recovered now. You also can recover yourself. So you can inspire others and you can help others. And then you will find the real value of your life. So please do not think that you are not good enough. You're more than enough than you think. So remember these things and practice these things in your life. And I wish you all, may all of you find the real happiness in your life.
From today's video, let's discuss about how can we deal with anxiety and what to do when our mind becomes anxious, right? We all know that how it is painful when our mind becomes anxious and when we become afraid of the things that will happen in the future, or when the mind creates all these scenarios in our head about the things that will happen in the future, right? So how can we deal with this state of mind? There are a few things that we can do, right? But most of the time, when we become anxious, what happens is we become panicked and we take decisions that may not be the correct decision to take. Okay, so today I'm going to be sharing with you few things and few advices that I have given and that helped me a lot personally to deal with this anxiety. So the first thing that you have to do is, first, you have to be aware of your mental state, right? If you're anxious, if you're afraid of something, the first thing is to be aware of it and to accept it, right? Most of the time, we pretend not to be anxious. We pretend not to be fearful about the future, and we try to reject that state of our mind. The more we reject, the more it persists in our mind. So that is why the first step is to acknowledge and accept your current state of your mind. If you're anxious, just say to yourself, okay, now my thoughts are in anxiety mode. Right? My thoughts are anxious. I am fearing about certain things. Acceptance will help you to catch the thought and to be more aware of it. And also, when you accept it, it creates less pain, right? Acceptance is the first step of healing. So the first step is to accept your current mental state. And the second step is, this is amazing. Once you understand the current state of your mind, what you have to do, the biggest advice that I have given about anxiety is do one thing at a time, right? Take one action at a time, right? We all know that when we have a lot to do, right? When we have many jobs to do, what happens? We start thinking about everything. Right? We started loading these thoughts into our mind every time, and we try to do all at once. But in reality, we can't do all at once, right? One thing that we can do is we can take one job, one action at a time and do that, right? So how to do this? First of all, to clarify your thoughts and to be clear about what you have to do and what you can do and cannot do, first, sit down in a quiet place, take a piece of paper and write down all the things that you are fearing about, and write down all the things about the current situation that you are in. And also, most importantly, you have to write down the things that are in your control and things that are out of your control. When you clarify these things, you can take actions upon the things that are under your control. So one thing that you can do is sit down, write down all the thoughts, write down current situation of your life, and write down all the things that are under your control and not under your control, so that you're very clear about what to do and what not to do, right? So when you clarify that and take one action, just one action, and what you have to do, just execute that action, right? Don't try to do all the things, just pick one action and do it at one. It's something like this, right? Something like you're grabbing a bunch of oranges, right? What will happen if you try to grab a bunch of oranges at once? You can't grab all of them, right? It will fall, they will fall. So one thing that you can do is pick a basket, take one orange at a time and put it into the basket. In that way, you can grab many oranges. In the same way, when you clarify your thoughts and take one action at a time and execute it, then it will be clear in your mind and it will ease up your mental state. So do one thing at a time. And the third step is to do it slowly and deliberately, right? Even when you become clarified about what to do, don't be anxious, don't be panicked. What do you have to do? Do it slowly, right? One thing that a lot of meditation masters teach is that when you're anxious, do something slowly, right? Slow down. When your body becomes slow down, your mind becomes slow down. That's the connection between the body and our mind. When our mind is slow, our body is slow. When our body is slow, our mind is slow. So do things, take that action and do it slowly and deliberately. Do it with proper consciousness, proper awareness and proper mindfulness. That's so that you feel what you're doing. Then you understand what you're doing, right? So in that way, you can ease up this anxiety. And the last thing that you have to do is do it completely, right? Complete the action. When we are anxious about certain things, what we do, we don't complete that action, right? We just hang over that problem or that task and we don't complete it, right? One thing that you have to do is do it completely, right? Complete your action, do it slowly, deliberately, and finally complete that action so that that step is finished, right? And then once you complete that action, what do you have to do? Take the next step and do it slowly, deliberately, and completely. In that way, you can clarify what you have to do, and also you will get a good time to take good decisions. So this is a little way and a tiny practice that you can add to your life to ease up your pain of anxiety. And whenever you are anxious about certain things, try this and it will ease up your pain of anxiety. So keep this little advice in your mind and be happy. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. A quick question. I need to ask, how many times have you made timetables and to-do lists in the beginning of the year, maybe beginning of the term or beginning of the day, and you did nothing according to it? Now, we all have done this. We all have made to-do lists, we all have made timetables, and we cannot stick to it. Why? Because we procrastinate. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about what is procrastination and how to stop it. So first of all, don't be afraid of procrastination. Why? Because it's a normal human nature. You know, average human is a good procrastinator, right? Average human is lazy. We all have that feeling of procrastination and we all have that laziness within us. But if you need to rise above the average, if you need to be someone special in this society, you have to stop these bad habits, right? So, first of all, don't be afraid of the procrastination, we can stop that. Remember, the procrastination or the postponing, this mental laziness within yourself is a habit, right? So habits are all in your head. It's not in your body, it's not in your environment, it's all in your head. So you can control it and you can stop it, right? So, first of all, let's talk about what is procrastination. The procrastination is that mental barrier or the mental resistance that keeps you away from doing the things what should be done, right? So for an example, when you wake up in the morning and if you have to study in the morning, do you feel like getting down from the bed and start studying? When you are in that situation, you find that mental stress and mental barrier inside you. Your mind says, no, just stay on the bed for 5 minutes. It's okay. I have time. I can do it later. That is what mind says all the time. But the same mind that told us to procrastinate will complain when the things getting worse. When the exams are near, when the deadline is near, if you haven't done anything, your same mind that directed you to procrastinate will complain for you. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do the things according to the timetable? You are a procrastinator. That is what mind says, right? So we should not let our mind to trick us. So, how to stop procrastinating? Well, there is a nice Dhammapada verse that was preached by our Supreme Buddha. In that Dhammapada verse, we find lots of things that will help us to stop this bad habit. Supreme Buddha says, Uttanavato satimato suchikammassa nisammakarino. If a person is energetic, uttanavato, satimato, if he is mindful, suchikammassa nisammakarino, if he does the good thing and the right thing from his body and mind and from his speech, sanyatassacha dhammajivino, if he can control his sensual desires, sensual cravings, appamattassa yasobhivaddati, that diligent man's fame and wealth will be developed. So in that Dhammapada verse, we find everything what we need to stop procrastination. So what are these things? Supreme Buddha said, Uttanavato, be energetic, take action. Well, there's only one way to stop procrastination, and that is to take action. But that is a tough hurdle to jump, right? To be energetic, to take action, and to do the works, it's a tough thing to do. So what we should practice to jump this tough hurdle? We should practice. First of all, we should practice the mindfulness. That is why Supreme Buddha said, Uttanavato satimato. You should be mindful about yourself. You should be aware of yourself constantly. So for what we should be aware, we should be aware towards our mind, right? Now, before I told you, the procrastination is a mental condition, right? It is all in your head. It's a thought, it's an emotion. So you should be mindful and you should be aware of your thoughts, right? You should have that ability. When you become more aware of your thoughts, you can have that ability to detect what is coming inside to your mind. When the laziness comes in, when the lazy thoughts come in, you know, oh, there's a lazy thought. And now I need to take action, right? When the anger comes in, you can detect it. Now there's anger now. My mind is angry now. When you become more aware, then you get the opportunity to control it. When you become more aware of your thoughts, you will have that ability to control that thought. So first thing is to be aware, to be mindful, right? So that is why Supreme Buddha said, Uttanvato satimato, suchikammasani sammakarino. Do what is right, right? So when you're studying, if your mobile phone is next to you, right? After some time, you get that mobile phone and you scroll through social media. You scroll through the phone. So in that time, if you can ask from yourself, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the good thing? Am I doing the thing that should be done? Then your mind answers, this is not what should I do. I should study, get back to study. Right? That is why Supreme Buddha said, always do what is right and do what should be done first. Right? After that, in the spare time, in the leisure time, you can have that experience. You can have that. You can enjoy yourself. Right? That is why Supreme Buddha said, "Suchikammas nisammakarino, sanyatasacha dhammajivino." You need to have that ability to control your sensual desires, right? Now, your mind likes to log on to social media, and your mind likes to be lazy and to stay without doing anything, right? So that is why your mind always tries to procrastinate. So Supreme Buddha said, to be a special person, to have the successfulness into your life, you need to give up the sensual desires for some extent, right? So it is very nice and it is very comfortable feeling that you feel in the morning on the bed, right? It is nice and warm. But if you have to study, you have to give up that pleasurable feeling, and you have to get back to studies. So that is why you need to have that mental power and mental ability to stop or to give up the sensual desires for some extent and do the work. Because if you do the easy thing, right? If you continue to do the easy thing always, remember, tomorrow will be hard. Your future will be hard. So if you need to be happy in the future, you have to undergo what is hard today. So that is why Supreme Buddha said, you need to control the sensual desires. If you can do these things, Supreme Buddha said, appamatasaya sobhivadati, that diligent man's fame and wealth will be developed. So these are the things which helps us to stay away from procrastination. So I need to share with you some more tips and more things to help you to stop this bad habit. Remember, the procrastination is a habit, and it is a way of relieving the stress, right? So for an example, if your exams are near, right? If you have a lot to study, normally what you do you study or you procrastinate? You procrastinate because your mind needs to relieve that stress in some way. So your mind chooses the easiest way to procrastinate. So always remember, it is a habit and that habit can be broken. So how to break your habit? There is only one way: to take action, right? Do the opposite thing. In the case of procrastination, you have to take action, right? So that is what you should be done. And also there's another thing. When you make the timetables, when you make the to-do lists, always make the to-do lists and the timetables that you can afford. Sometimes students, they make the timetables and to-do lists that they cannot afford those things, right? For an example, many of us make the timetables like this. I'm going to study for 1.5 hours. I'm going to study for 3 hours. But your mind is not ready for that. So what you have to do? You have to make achievable and realistic goals and timetables. Let's say like this. if you have to study for 5 minutes, would you be happy? Only for 5 minutes. Your mind also happy, and your mind tends to do that, right? So what you have to do, just if you cannot study for maybe 20 minutes, just make a timetable or a to-do list to study for 5 minutes. Tell your mind that I have to study only for 5 minutes. Just that, it's all, right? Then you have that motivation, and then you have that power to get up from the bed and get up from the place where you are and start studying. So what you have to do, set the achievable goals in your timetables, right? You can start from 5 minutes, or if you cannot start from 5 minutes, just start from 1 minute. It's okay. If you cannot start from 5 minutes, just start from 1 minute. Who cares? It's okay. The reason that we have to set these achievable goals is because when we set these small goals, right, small tasks, in reality, we do more than that, right? Everyone can study more than 5 minutes. Everyone can study more than 1 minute. So in reality, you do more than that, right? And by the time, little by little, you can increase the amount of time that you are studying, right? So that is much better than postponing the works. That is much better than doing nothing. So always set the achievable tasks. And there's another one. Ask one of your friends or one of your parents to review what you have done at the end of the day. Then you will have that motivation, or you will have that power inside to do more and more, to impress your friends, maybe to impress your parents, right? Ask one of your friends or parents to review and check what you have done. And also, this is the main thing that you have to do. You need to change your mindset. Don't label yourself as a procrastinator. Remember, you're not a procrastinator, but you only have a habit of procrastinating. So you can break it. The more you label yourself as a procrastinator, the more you will procrastinate. So what you have to do, change your mindset and think that this can be broken, this bad habit can be broken, and I have that power inside me to do work and to be successful. Okay? So these are the things that we can do to stop procrastination. And always remember, finally, always remember this, right? When you're procrastinating, when you're postponing, you're not only postponing and procrastinating your work, but you also procrastinate your happiness. So don't let your procrastination to destroy your happiness. So stop procrastination by practicing these tips and have a happy life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. Today, we are going to discuss about a question that has been mentioned in the comments. The question is how to remain peaceful and calm under stressful situations. Coming right up. Stressful and difficult situations are the situations that we all have faced in all of our lives. But many of us face these situations in an unsuccessful way. Under difficult circumstances, under stressful situations, we become depressed, sad, and anxious. So, how to remain calm and how to maintain your inner peace under these circumstances? So, first of all, we have to know and we have to learn and we have to observe what is the situation. Remember, there is a common nature in all the experiences and situations that we face in our life. What is this? What is that common nature? That is called the impermanence. Whatever we encounter and whatever we experience in our life, soon after that has been experienced, it becomes impermanent. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. Now imagine someone is complaining to you about a mistake that you have done or maybe you haven't done, right? So he's yelling at you, right? So in that moment, when the people complain and blame at us, we become depressed, we become sad. But what is the nature of that situation? What is the nature of those words, those rude words? Now soon after we hear them, they become impermanent, right? Soon after you hear them, they will no longer prevail in our life. They are gone. That means everything that we encounter in our life, experience in our life, they become impermanent. That is the nature. But the real problem is that our mind clings to those experiences, and there's a nature in our mind that it creates again and again those experiences inside. Now, for an example, as I mentioned before, when someone blames us, right? So now we know that soon after that we got the blame, the words are gone. They have become impermanent. But what our mind does, it creates those words again and again. We think those rude words again and again, and we become sad and depressed. But the real nature is, those words are gone. They have become impermanent. Right? So that is the nature. Understanding about the impermanence. Understanding that these experiences and all the things that we face in our life are impermanent is very important to face or to be calm in a difficult situation. Because you know the nature. That is the first step. We need to understand that each and everything that we face in our life is impermanent. Right? Whether you face a terrible time, it will become impermanent. It will be changed. There will be a good day. Whether you face a good time, a happy time, a wonderful time, that will also become impermanent. That is the nature. So first of all, you need to understand about this. The world is impermanent. Our life is impermanent. Nothing is permanent in this world. Not even your problems. First step. And the second step. Whenever you are in a difficult situation, whenever you are in a terrible moment, you need to practice some practices or to do something to remain peaceful and maintain your peacefulness and think of a solution to solve this problem. So how to do that? Now, many of us, during the difficult situations, we become panicked. We freak out. So it is the best thing to do during a difficult situation is to do some practices to calm our mind. So what we can do to make our minds calm? The best thing that you can do to make your mind calm and peaceful is do some meditation. Right? Do a little bit of a meditation during that stressful situation. So how to do that? The easiest meditation that you can practice within a stressful situation is to contemplate on your breath. Now, breath is an amazing thing. It changes according to the situation. Isn't that right? So when we are in a terrible moment, right? When we are in a dangerous moment, what is the nature of our breathing pattern? It becomes fast and it becomes shorter. We take short and fast breathing patterns, right? So what is the nature of our breathing pattern? That when we go to sleep, what do we do normally? I think most of you have experienced this. When you go to bed and when you lie down, you take a deep breath in and let it go. That is a sign that your body shows that you are going to rest. So if you need to become peaceful and serene and tranquilized, you need to restructure your breath. So in a difficult and terrible and stressful situation, just take deep breaths in. You can do it. Breathe in deeply and let it go. And contemplate on the pattern of your breathing. Now you can do this, but this needs a little bit of a practice. Right? You cannot do it without a practice. First of all, you need to practice this. Now some people may question, now I cannot do this in a difficult situation. Yes, you cannot do it because you don't have that practice. First of all, you need to practice this contemplation and this practice where there is no stressful situations. Right? That is the thing. The nature of these practices is that if you do it whenever there is no problem, then it will help you to practice that way or the situation or that remedy during a stressful situation. There's a great saying that it says, if you sweat during the times of peace, you will bleed less during the times of war. That means if you practice during the times of peaceful situations and where there is no stressful situations, it will help, that practice will help you to face the difficult situations. So, practice at least 5 minutes a day to contemplate on your breath. Right? You can feel the way that you are breathing. Right? It will help you to tranquilize your mind. Supreme Buddha said, Vitakku pachedaya anapana sati bhavetappa. If you need to stop the chattering mind, if you need to stop the thoughts that are popping up all the time that inside your mind, just practice the anapanasati, or which we call the breathing meditation. Just contemplate on the breathing meditation. When you contemplate your mind on this breathing pattern, right, you're focusing your mind to inhale and to the exhale. That means your mind jumps from one thought to another, but there is only two thoughts. Inhale and exhale. You're not thinking about anything else. Right? That means you reduced thousands and millions of thoughts to two thoughts. So that is a big thing. So if you do it as a practice, you will feel that your mind will become more and more peaceful and tranquilized. So whenever you face a difficult and stressful situation, try to take deep breaths, few deep breaths in and let them go. And it will make you feel better. Right? So if you need to face a difficult situation, if you need to face a stressful situation successfully, you have to be ready for that situation where there is no stress. So that is how you face the difficult situations without being distracted. And also, as an extra thing, you have to practice the love and kindness. And also, you have to practice the forgiveness. If you can practice these great qualities like compassion, love, and kindness, especially forgiveness, you can maintain your peacefulness. Because when you forgive people, as an example, when you forgive people, that means you are letting go of them. Right? The more you forgive, the more you will feel the peacefulness within. But forgiveness does not mean that you are going to fall into the same trap again and again for them. You forgive for yourself, and you know that person, and you can stay away from them in a positive way, and you can still be kind to them. Because kindness and forgiveness starts within your heart, and it will help you always. So practice these practices in the times where there are no stress and disturbing situations. And one day, when you master them, one day you can maintain your peacefulness within yourself without being distracted. There are so many kinds of people. They live in different social states, right? We have to deal with these people when we are living our life. So there's a problem which origins inside our mind when we live with these people and that problem is we compare our life with them, right? We compare our problems and our life and our social states with other people's lives. Remember, this comparison is not the problem. This comparison can be used in many ways. People use it in many ways, right? Some people, they use this comparison to motivate themselves, right? Now, when you see athletes and the people who are doing sports, when they see the players or athletes which have more capacity and more talents than them, then they try to compare themselves with others, and what they do is they develop themselves. They motivate themselves to do more, to practice more, right? So this comparison can be used in a good way. But many of us doesn't do that. What we do is we compare our life with others and we become frustrated with our life. Now this happens for many people who use social media. When they visit Facebook or Instagram, there are so many cases and there are so many problems that origins when you visit social media, because you see, when you visit those platforms, you see so many pictures of other people, how they live their life, how they eat, how they dress, how they go out in Sunday nights and Saturday nights. So you see such pictures. But currently, you may be not in a situation to enjoy your life. Sometimes you may be in a problem. So what you do is you compare that life with your life and you become frustrated. You become sad. You become depressed. That is why, from researchers, it has been proved that the people who visit and who are in social media for long times, they have a higher probability of having the social stress and depression and mental stress inside. Why? That is because of this frustration due to comparison. So that is the comparison that we need to stop, right? If you compare your life with someone and if you become motivated to be and develop more inside you, then it's a good one. So, when you see the happy lives of others, right? If you compare, then you become frustrated. Remember, you cannot be someone else, right? We can only be ourselves. If you try to be someone else, that means you're wasting your life. You're wasting your valuable time that can be used to develop yourself. So the first thing that you have to know is that I cannot be someone else. I can be me. You can be the best version of yourself. That is what we need to do. So, what we have to do is, we need to battle with ourselves. We don't want to battle with others, right? We don't want to be competitive. We don't want to have races. We don't want to do that. What we have to do is, we need to battle with our own weaknesses. We need to try hard to eliminate and destroy our own weaknesses, our own faults, our own bad habits. That is what makes our life develop. But if you compare with others' lives, and if you become frustrated, and if you do nothing, you're not developing anything, right? So it is like running a race. Now, you all have seen athletes running races, right? So athlete's job is to be the best person, the best athlete in his track, right? His job is to run as fast as he can in his track. But if he keep on staring on others' tracks, and if we keep thinking on what others do, he will not be successful. He will not become a successful athlete. So what he needs to do is to run as fast as he can by focusing on his own track, and then he will become a successful athlete. So life is also like that. You need to focus on your track. You need to focus on your life. How I'm going to develop my good qualities. How I'm going to develop my spirituality. How I'm going to develop my mental strength. If you focus on yourself, you see the weaknesses and strengths and opportunities that you have within yourself. Then you can have and you can develop these things inside you. Right? But if you merely comparing on other selves and staring to others' life, and if you do nothing, you will be in the same place forever. So I will give you a good suggestion that was given by our great teacher Supreme Buddha to stop this comparison. Right? That divine quality that Buddha explained that we should develop within ourselves is called mudita. What is that name? Mudita. Mudita means appreciative joyfulness. So the main aim in practicing this mind of mudita, the mind of appreciative joyfulness, is to eliminate the jealous or the envy that we build up inside by comparing our lives with others. Right? Normally when we compare, we build up the jealous inside. That is what makes our life frustrated. That is what makes our mind stressed and depressed. So what we need to do is to practice mudita, or appreciative joyfulness. So how to practice it? Here's how to do it. It's a simple way. It's a simple and a practical way. You should apply these things to your practical world when you're living in your life, right? This is how to do it. Is when you see the good lives of other people, when you see the bright sides of people, what you need to do is you need to practice your mind to be happy by seeing them, to wish the well-being of their life. Right? If you can be happy by seeing their good lives, if you can be happy by enjoying others' lives, you will never be frustrated. Right? You have to be happy, and you have to say, you have to wish the well-being of others from the deepest place in your heart. Then you will build up an inner happiness. Right? You are not comparing yourself with others. You become happy by seeing others' success. But still, you have the mind to develop your own qualities. to eliminate your own weaknesses, right? You can use that comparison in a good way. So that is how to practice the mudita. So here's a simple way and a practical way to do it. Whenever you get up early in the morning, before you get down from your bed, just sit on the bed, close your eyes, and for maybe 5 seconds, you can think, may all the beings in this world become successful. May they enjoy their life. May they be happy forever. Wish the well-being of others. If you wish it, you will not become frustrated, right? The best thing that you have to remember is you can be yourself only. You cannot be someone else. So try to develop your own good qualities and try to eliminate your own weaknesses. Battle with yourself, right? It is you versus you. You need to always give that and be the best version of yourself, right? If you do the best thing that you can be, you should do, and if you become the best person that you can become, then you don't want to worry about other things, right? You don't want to worry about the talents and the things that you did not have in your life, because that is because you became the best person of yourself. That is what you can do. So stop comparing yourself. Develop mudita, the appreciative joyfulness, and enjoy your life, enjoy your peacefulness by developing these good qualities. Namo Buddhaya, Thiruvan Saranai.